from The Girl in the Spider's Web, a movie whose actual title is The Girl in the Spider's Web, A New Dragon Tattoo Story. That was probably overkill. I think we kind of got the idea, but you know, apparently no title is too long these days. So I just got back. I'm gonna play some gun game. Spoiler alert: I'm not good at gun game, but I play it anyway. And we're gonna talk about The Girl in the Spider's Web, A New Dragon Tattoo Story. It's a normally I talk about horror. This movie has a couple of horrific elements, but like the David Fincher film, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, this is primarily a thriller that features the now iconic character Lisbeth Salander, a character I very much like. I've never actually read the books. I should probably get around to that, but I have seen 3 series. Boom! Awesome. God, as soon as I can get away from that pistol, the better off I am. So I've seen the 3 Swedish movies. Oops. I've seen the 3 Swedish movies, which I think justifies saying that 3 times. And I've also seen the David Fincher adaptation, which isn't really a remake of the Swedish films. It's kind of his own adaptation of the book. I very much liked his adaptation. I think it was, in many ways, superior to the Swedish films that starred Noomi Rapace, made a star out of Noomi Rapace. And, but I think Rooney Mara did a really incredible job stepping into her shoes and made Elizabeth Salander that was equally iconic. Plus Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross scored that film. Can't beat that. So this film, The Girl in the Spider's Web, is a sequel to that film that is coming out in theaters this weekend. I think it's 7 years after the original. I want to say the original. I want to say not the original, but Fincher's film came out in 2011. Does that sound about right? Can't believe it's been that long, but yeah. So it's been a while. This is a sequel to that film, except we have a new actress playing Lisbeth Salander. She is portrayed by Claire Foy, who you might recognize as the Queen from The Crown on Netflix. She's a really tremendous actress. I actually have been very excited about her career since I saw her in Wolf Hall, which was an incredible, high-profile British production that I highly recommend. She was just great in that, even though she didn't have a ton of screen time. And she is, for the most part, I would say, great in Girl in the Spider's Web. She's pretty solid. I have some criticisms, I would say, of what they do with her character, but none of them are Claire's fault. I mean, she's just a rock star across the board. She's great. The only thing I don't like about this iteration of the character is that she doesn't really... I feel like Fincher's interpretation of this was that she was constantly evolving and constantly making herself. That was like this theme with her character that was embodied in different clothing and attire and hairstyles in particular. And each one of them was an expression of who Elizabeth Salander is. Claire Foy pretty much looks the same throughout this movie, so which is not to say that her character doesn't change. Her character, in many ways, in ways that I think are interesting, but for some reason her look doesn't really change that much, which is kind of disappointing. But who else? Michael Blomkvist, is that how you pronounce it? He is the journalist that was portrayed by Daniel Craig in the Fincher movie. He is portrayed by another actor, I think a Swedish actor, who looks remarkably like but I was unfamiliar with his work. I thought he did a pretty solid job, although he is outshined by Claire Foy, and also by Sylvia Hoeks, I think her name is, who plays a character whose name I'm not going to tell you, but she is a very interesting character, and I enjoyed her work. That's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, there's some good stuff being done here. What I think is most interesting is that it seems like they're trying to change the setup of this franchise so that it becomes like a James Bond franchise. That's kind of the vibe I got. Not that I can blame them. I think that this, could do that, and I think they do. That take on this character is an interesting one. I don't know if they quite succeed, and I don't know if this movie is going to be successful enough to financially successful enough to launch that sort of franchise around her. But I thought it was an interesting take, an interesting narrative take. This story is much bigger in terms of its implications than The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. You know, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is essentially about a family, and it's all based in Sweden. It's very Swedish, and what is happening in Sweden doesn't really affect the rest of the world. But in this movie, what is happening in Sweden most definitely affects the rest of the world, and you know, it's kind of a boilerplate plot, but I thought, you know, they used it to some success. I shouldn't say plot. It's sort of a boilerplate plot device. Somebody has an actual plot that they're trying to pull off, and I thought it was pretty solid and very James Bondy. It gives them an excuse to bring an American into the movie, played by Lakeith Stanfield, who does a pretty solid job here. He kind of sticks out. It's interesting. He kind of...
you already know how this is going to go down.
I like Lakeith Stanfield so much, but he's just sort of like a secondary or tertiary character in this movie. So I kind of spent the whole movie wishing the story was told from his perspective, and it was about his interaction with Lisbeth, rather than rejoining Lisbeth and Michael Blomkvist, who are you know, I don't know, they're interesting together, but for whatever reason, what they're doing in this movie just kind of seems redundant, and what Lakeith Stanfield's character is doing is kind of similar to what Michael Blomkvist's character is doing. And I'm going to get roasted by anybody who actually has experience with real Swedish accents. But yeah, I like Lakeith Stanfield's character, and yeah. This movie is directed by Fede Alvarez, whose work I absolutely adore. I think he's a brilliant director. He directed Don't Breathe a couple of years ago, which was a really incredible film, I thought. He did very well. Not surprised at all. He was given you know, a high-profile directing job like this one. Can I kill this guy? No, I cannot. I can't kill this guy. What is happening? That was inevitable. Yeah, Fede Alvarez, he is a hero. Like, that guy bats 1,000. Don't Breathe was really great. He also directed the Evil Dead remake, which, you know, look, like, we've all seen some pretty bad horror
Good
remakes.
effect.
But the Evil Dead remake was awesome. It was incredible, and it was Fede Alvarez. He also reteams with his DP from Don't Breathe, Pedro Luque, I think is how you pronounce his name. Pedro is an incredibly talented DP, and he helped keep Don't Breathe very dynamic and very beautiful. That's a very beautifully shot film, I think. And this film is, you know, even more beautiful, because instead of covering the inside of, you know, some old guy's house, we're covering the Swedish countryside. Yeah, so I definitely think it's worth watching. Go check out The Girl in the Spider's Web. I would like to see a third Lisbeth Salander film in theaters. I don't know if there's enough there to really make a Bond-like franchise out of it, but we'll see. We'll see how it does. Oh, also, Stephen Merchant is in this movie. Do you know who Stephen Merchant is? Stephen Merchant co-created The Office with Ricky Gervais. I'm talking about the British version of The Office. And he's also just an all-around awesome character actor. Smart, funny, hilarious. Cool to see him in a dramatic role here. He really holds his own. And he plays a securities analyst or securities expert. I guess that's how I describe it. And I cannot get away from this pistol. And he does so to great effect. I think he's well cast. I think he, you know, feels like he does that very well. And yeah, so that's it. Go check it out. Up. What are the other things I'm watching? I'm about halfway through The Haunting of Hill House. I'll do might do a two-parter on that television series, which is excellent if you haven't seen it. That's I think it's a really big hit. Netflix has not really released numbers, but I think they have let it leak that is a ginormous hit, as the kids say. And it should be. It's really good. I made it up through episode 6, which is, you know, it's a really good series before episode 6, but episode 6 is really master level work. It is an hour of television that is better work than most people are able to do in their entire film careers. Like, it's just really incredible work and a testament to Mike Flanagan and Mike Famigliari's incredible talent. So I'll probably do another show on that. What else am I watching? I recently saw Revenge on Shudder. You should totally check that out. Revenge is a film about a girl who goes on a little weekend excursion with this guy, and then things go horribly wrong, and these guys really mistreat her, and then she gets revenge, and it's pretty great. It's pretty interesting. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. You should check that out. What's happening. I've also, if you want to look at one of my other reviews, I just did a review. I did 2 reviews of Overlord, actually, a spoiler and a non-spoiler review. They're pretty different, so feel free to watch both. Up to you. Kill me. Golly. Man, I'm stuck with this pistol the whole time. If I don't kill somebody very early on and get out of the revolver, like, I'm dead. I am dead. Excuse me.
Killed it.
The weather is changing in New Orleans, and I'm barely surviving. Overlord. Go check that out. Let's see, what else? I'm planning to play through The Last of Us Remastered. I've never played this game. I've heard the story is incredible, which is the primary reason I want to play it. And hopefully you'll tune in for that. I'm going to be live streaming the entire game. Should be a good time. I've heard it's incredible. It's interesting. It's interesting to me how video games have affected the way that filmmakers choose to cover their movies. And I'm not just talking about quote-unquote video game movies, but you know, a movie like Hardcore Henry, for instance, is not a video game movie, but it's a video game movie. You know, I mean, it's the whole thing is basically in the first person. And,
gun game.
You know, it is very much the experience of watching somebody play a video game. But it definitely affects the mind, and it affects how audiences see films and how filmmakers choose to make them. Both of those things are true. Oops. That guy got me. In fact, I would say that my brain, my eye, was trained by simultaneously watching movies and watching video games. They killed. Almost got him. That was rough. Yeah, as soon as video games became 3D, three-dimensional, as soon as polygons became a thing, I started to use them to frame stories. And I've heard that The Last of Us is one of the best of those. I've heard that The Last of Us is possibly the best story ever told on a console, so we'll see how far that gets us. See if I can get away from the shotgun. I wish this map... First of all, I wish more of these maps were in the dark. I wish this map in particular had a night mode. I think that would be pretty scary. There's so much wide open space on some of these maps that I just don't... I don't find them very sportsmanlike. Look, I know I got a shotgun, but that was 3 shots on that dude. How is he still alive? Looks like somebody just cleaned up. See, never had a chance there. I got a shotgun, I'm never getting close to that guy. Boom. Is that a revenge badge? I didn't see it. Let's see if I can kill this guy.
Firebreak neutralized.
See, that guy never had a chance. There's no way he could have seen me. Not that I'm complaining. Yep, never saw that dude. Let's see. Get in here, get in some close quarters, combat. Almost.
Infantry down.
Let me get back. The key on this map is like hugging a wall. It's like hiding indoors. That's your goal. Hide indoors. Somebody else killed him. I'm still getting used to Black Ops 4. Most of my instincts were built in the original Black Ops for PS3. That guy was just waiting for me. Love all the atmosphere in this map.
He's done.
Oh, somebody beat me. Alright, friends, that's all I got. Go see The Girl in the Spider's Web. Also, feel free to come hang out with us if you're a horror fan. Feel free to come hang out on reddit.com/r/shutter. SHUTDR is the horror stream service that I'm a big fan of. Come hang out with us there. We got a Discord, we got a bunch of other cool stuff. Come be friends. I make an appearance pretty regularly. Alright, take it easy.